Hello, this is Dave Sugarbaker, and today is the 15th day of December 2024, 10 days till Christmas. And I have a sermon. We're doing sermons on four facets of Advent, and today is about love. I have a very familiar passage from Corinthians. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. That's what Paul has to say on the matter. On Monday of this last week, Elaine's daughter Megan had her birthday, and she and her husband are living with us temporarily as they transition from Alaska, where they've been for the last 5 years, to someplace in Kentucky. Elaine went to the store in search of a birthday cake. She found a fancy carrot cake, but passed on that in favor of a cake mix and icing. That cake was ready in the nick of time for dinner that night. When asked why she chose a cake mix over the already prepared and decorated cake, she said the fancy cake didn't have enough love in it. Her comment struck me as I was getting ready for this third week of Advent and the candle called Love that represents it. During the 4 Sundays of preparation for Emmanuel, we're looking at 4 of the intangible facets of preparing for God with us. And the 4 facets are hope, peace, love, and joy. Last Saturday night at First Presbyterian Church at West Union, we had a concert by a group called the Voices of Appalachia. And it left a lot of us with happy memories. And on the other hand, it would have given the fire marshal nightmares, I'm sure. We had more than a packed house. We got out every extra chair that we had in the whole building and used every last one of them. During the concert, I don't think that there was a single chair in the building that wasn't occupied. Among other things, the choir sang, "Even in the cold midwinter, love is all around." I'd like to think so. I remember a Christmas season in the 60s when there was a painful recording on the radio. It was a mashup of Silent Night and the evening news about the Vietnam War. Now, we could change the name and the place of the war and replay that same horrible juxtaposition this Christmas time. It could be Syria, it could be Gaza, could be Lebanon, could be Ukraine, could be Africa. There's been no decline either in mass shootings in the United States. Now, a mass shooting is defined as a shooting in which at least 4 people are either shot or killed. And if a gunman isn't measuring up and shoots less than 4 people, they're just not doing what they could do in achieving part of the statistic. We're still having more than 1 mass shooting per day, more than 1 per day, with 648 people killed and 2,227 people injured in 547 mass shootings as of November 30th this year. We still have time to add to those statistics. It's amazing. But there's no shortage of irony as we celebrate hope and peace and love and joy in the context of our present world situation. We get to choose where we focus. And it was true in Paul's world as well. It was a choice that they had to make as he wrote about the stubborn persistence of love. Paul was addressing Christians who had a dual threat of persecution and death at the hands of either the Romans, on the one hand, or the Jews. The Jews knew that all the followers of Jesus' way were heretics, and the punishment for heresy was death. Now, on the other hand, the Romans saw the Christians as a strange new cult. The Romans knew that Christians were strange and unruly. From the Roman point of view, Christianity was a new and unknown religious movement. Christians neglected the worship of the Roman gods, that is, they wouldn't salute the flag. They promoted controversy in their clashes between the Jewish community and themselves, and they abhorred Roman power and its benefactions. As Paul wrote, the persecution of Christians was just ramping up. Nero in 60-something AD began the first organized Roman persecution of the Christians. But in that context, Paul wrote, "Love is patient. Love is kind. It rejoices in the truth. Love has no room for boasting, envy, or rudeness. It doesn't arrogantly insist on its own way. It's not irritable or resentful. It doesn't hold grudges or seek retribution. It doesn't get any joy from wrongdoing. Love never throws up its hands and quits. It's willing to bear anything, believe everything, always hope, and endure whatever. Love, Paul says, never ends." Paul's fellow Christians faced a scary world, but nonetheless, he told them to look for love. He told his followers, his fellow believers, that love would last longer than faith and be stronger than hope. Now, behavioral scientists tell us that we tend to see what we have trained ourselves to look for. If we're looking for grievances, that's what we tend to find. If we look for evidence that things are going downhill and picking up speed, that's what we will most likely discover. On the other hand, what would happen if we were looking for which cake had the most love in it? Which interactions reflected patience, kindness, and truthfulness? Which organizations were powered by love in search of remedies for injustice and discrimination? Which events were organized basically out of love? If we haven't trained ourselves to look for love, we are less likely to see it at work right under our noses. Helen Keller said, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." So, look for the cake with the most love in it. Now, God bless you. Thank you for spending time listening to this thing. And if you find value here, I'd appreciate it if you'd pass it along. Thank you. Stay safe. See you soon.